Hey, you all doing? We'll keep you another time here, another time on the book club. It's a Sunday offering here. We get to do a read, study to a book, and get blessed by it. And we've been doing our fourth book in the series, which is the book by Bata Adams, Cleopatra's Riches. That's what we've been doing for a while now. And obviously have 3 more months to go on this, but I'm not in a hurry. Like you all know, I'm a teacher and I could do this forever. The important thing for me is that we're getting everything that we need to get from it. If we're getting blessed, that's all I need. That's all makes me fulfilled. It's not about doing a multitude. It's about the depth, right? The depth, not just the latitude, the depth. So I'm not in a hurry. I hope you're not in a hurry also. Uh, so that's what we're on right now. When we're done with this, probably in another 3 months or so, we're going to go to our fifth book, right? A fifth book in the series is a book by Bethany Frankel, right? Business is personal. I look forward to doing this. As much as I said continually, money, talking about money is probably one of the best subjects I love to speak about. I love to share about, right? Uh, there's also business. Business also ties to money, right? Money is business. Business is money. I love talking about business also. I'm an engineer. I'm a businessman. I'm an investor. I do all of that. So for me, it's not just theory. It's just what the book says. It's my life. Like you see me share as we go through all of this. It's my life. It's what I live, on a daily basis. And doing this is pretty much sharing my life with you all and learning in the process and getting better, even by doing it. So I enjoy doing this. And thanks for sharing this time with me. I hope you're getting blessed also and you're picking one or two things that can revolutionize your life and make your life better. That's the whole idea. It's getting better, 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 better. That's the whole idea. So thanks for coming along, and we're gonna continue where we stopped 2 weeks ago. We're in chapter 10 of the book, and the three parts of chapter 10, right? Higher education, media, government taxes. We're talking about how the society affects the way we earn money, right? The society affects us in the way we are educated. And we spent some time talking about that 2 weeks ago. We missed our time last Sunday. So this is what we're supposed to share last Sunday. It's pretty much talking about how media affects our earning money, right? When we talk about media, right, there's several forms of media. Popular one today is social media, the TV, the radio, the newsprint. It's all communication, as it were. And my beloved foremost Puritan would say there's been from the beginning of the ages, there's been a continual war, right, for the mind of man. And that war is being orchestrated in the place of media. The intent of media is to win the battle of the mind, right? So we'll talk a bit about that today as we go through that section of the book. Then next week we'll talk about government taxes, and that would close chapter 10 for us. So let's do it. I'm going to go into the book. Let me bring up my slides here and we can shoot. I hope you enjoy it. Let's do it. All right, I believe you can see my slides now. Sorry, it took a few seconds longer. I thought I had it open already, but I have to just open it. But you can see it now. So it's still in the book. This is pretty much just the website from Martha Adams. We can get a whole lot more resource from her, which we could get blessed by. And we'll go back. We did this 2 weeks ago, but pretty much each of our books has a proverb, an Egyptian proverb to start the book. And this is the one that starts the chapter, pretty much talking about the importance of learning, the importance of growing, right? Like we focused on when we talk about higher education, you know, for what you have determines what you attract, right? If you want value, if you want resources, if you want money, then you have to be someone that money would want to stay with, that money would want to come to, right? Money is attracted, money is not pursued, money is attracted, right? The poor may say they pursue after money, and that's why they don't have money. The rich understand that money is attracted, it's not pursued. You attract money by becoming someone that money would want to stay with, that money likes, that money wants to come to, right? So, and that you do by learning, by developing yourself, by becoming a better person than you are. Because the better you are, the more the money that you attract, right? Money will not come to someone that cannot handle money. So you have to become someone that can handle money. And the more you are, the bigger the basket, the cup you bring to life, and life will fill your cup up, right? Life will fill the cup that you bring to it. So I love Jim Rohn would say, don't take a teaspoon to the ocean, at least take a bucket, right? Because you're only going to get the cup you bring to life with, right? So if you take a teaspoon to the ocean, that's the amount of water you're going to get. If you take a bucket there, that's what you're going to get, right? So come to life, give life something to fill up. And the way we do that is by growing, becoming bigger, better, right? Increasing our value, developing ourselves, right? So, and we saw there also Michelangelo, who kept learning even unto his dying day. So that's what he said on his dying bed. I'm still learning, so I don't care how old you are. The day you stop learning, that day you start growing old, right? So you're never too old to learn. You're never too old to grow, right? For as long as you're on this side of eternity, there's something to learn. There's something to get better at, right? The day you stop, the day you start dying, the day you are ready to leave this side of eternity. But for as long as you're here, you need to keep learning, keep growing, because that's how resources, right? And resources, not just money, right? Like we said the other time, prosperity is a stream of everything that is good, right? So when I grow, I come into that stream of all that is good, whether it be health, whether it be mental health, spiritual health, physical health, emotional health, social health. All of that comes to you because prosperity is not just money, right? It's being in the stream of all that is good, where money is included as part of those resources, right? So let's go on this. So, like we said, there are 3 parts to chapter 10, right? We talked about higher education last time. This week, we're going to be looking at media, right? Next week, we're going to look at government tax system, how all of that affect our earning money, and how we can optimize our position, in using all of that, So onto my 5th slide here, and media, Matter says that media provides an excellent reflection of our world from a societal view and belief standpoint, right? So we get what our world is, what our world believes in, what our world is trying to push towards us through the media. Media is a medium. That's a tautology, right? Media is simply just a passage whereby beliefs, values get transferred from one person to the other, one organization to the other, organization to people, right? So, and like I said earlier on, it's all about trying to get itself into your mind, right? Trying to give you a picture. Sometimes those pictures are good, sometimes those pictures are bad, but everybody's trying to gain mastery, right? The organizations are trying to gain mastery by giving you the picture they want you to have, right? Might be because they want to market something to you, so they make you believe that you can't do without their product, right? So they in terms of adverts, they're giving you a picture, they're communicating through the medium of advertisement, right? Trying to gain mastery of your mind, trying to gain mastery of your purchase, right? The government institution wants to sell to you what their laws are, what their culture is, their value is. So they keep on telling you about it. The church is trying to get you to their side, trying to tell you the doctrine, the boundaries, trying to get you to be a disciple or follower, right? And different religions do the same thing, right? Everything is just trying to win you over as a follower, as it were, as a student, they just want to win you into their team, as it were, right? And we see the same thing, right, with people trying to teach underage children about sex orientation, right? They're just trying to win their mind. They're trying to incorporate them, win them into their army, and they're intentionally going to that place where they are weakest to try and win them, right? They are warring against them. It's not love, because you are supposed to wait for people to be able to truly mature enough to make a decision. But because they know that the product they have, it does not have strength, so they go to the weakness of the children, trying to sell to them that which is not a good product, right? Not caring about the children, but caring about their own movement. So we have all of that. We're having to battle with, as it were, from a media standpoint, right? And maybe today. Hey, Han, how are you doing?
I'm good. Good morning, good afternoon.
Good morning. Good to have you.
Thank you.
Good. How's my brother doing and the children?
They're all doing well.
Awesome. Bless you. And you, how about you? How are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Awesome. I'm happy to hear. So we're in chapter 10 right now, and we're looking at the 3 parts in chapter 10. 2 weeks ago, we looked at higher education. Last week, my internet was not cooperating, so I canceled it.
Okay.
So we're doing today media, talking about the media and how it affects our ability to earn money. The last part of chapter 10 we'll take next week, talking about government taxes and how that affects our ability to earn money. So today we're focusing on the media, right?
Mm-hmm.
So media is pretty much tries to sell us. It's what people use to sell things to us. The intent of the media is to win us over, is to influence our mind, right? The intent of media is influence, right? So there's a battle for the mind of man, and that battle is waged through media, right? Some for our good, some for our bad, some slightly indifferent, but there's really no indifferent media, because every media influences us one way or the other, right? For the advertisements, we know what the influence is. They're trying to make us cult members or cult followers of their product, right? And they do that in not just in ordinary ways. They do it even in subliminal ways, because the easiest way to influence a person is to talk to the person's subconscious mind. See, if all I'm doing is talking to your conscious mind, I have to make a good argument, I have to have strong points to win you. But I don't need as much strong points if I'm talking to your subconscious mind, right? Because your subconscious mind is a dummy, right? It's not as intelligent as your conscious mind, but your subconscious mind is more powerful than your conscious mind, right? So in subliminal advertisement, they try to bypass your conscious mind to get to your subconscious mind, and once it gets to your subconscious mind, you have lost the battle, because your subconscious mind is not going to reason what it receives. It just assumes that anything reaching it is true, right? That's the basis of subliminal advertisement, and that's why it is done. Because if you can get to your subconscious mind, you are one. you have lost the battle. The gate to your mind is your conscious mind, right? Anything that bypasses your conscious mind is what we call manipulation or witchcraft, right? Witchcraft is a process by which people bypass your conscious mind, which is the gate of your mind, to talk to your subconscious mind, right? It's a brainwashing technique. That's how people get hypnotized, right? Hypnotism is not about putting people to sleep. Hypnotism is all about bypassing a person's conscious mind to talk to the subconscious mind, right? There are ethical parts of this which is used in for mental health, right? For mental health, where people are mentally sick, there's an ethical part of it whereby you use hypnotism as part of psychiatric treatment to be able to talk to the person's subconscious mind in a bit to help the person to recover from a mental sickness, you know. But outside those ethical need or ethical use, you know, that's a whole lot, you know. If it's used for the person that's using it against you's advantage, it's really not ethical, you know. But it gets used in different places, you know, in advertisement and all of that. And there are boundaries, but obviously people don't necessarily respect those boundaries. Am I flowing? Do you understand? And are you flowing along with me?
Yes, I am.
All right. So when you talk about media is both a mirror and a window, right? A mirror, media can help us to reflect. You know, it's like when we read the Bible to us is a mirror, right? We see our lives through the Bible, and hopefully we see where we are, the things that we need to correct. But even the Bible also, it's not just a mirror, it's a window. It opens to us new world that we're not either to don't know, right? It opens to us realities of the future that is to come. It opens to us realities about God, realities, you know, about heaven, realities about the spirit world, you know. Just as the Bible is both a mirror and a window, every media is like that, right? Yeah, it can either tell you, correct you, or could, you know, take you to new realms that you either did not know, right? So, as I said earlier, media is simply a passage, right? It's simply a passage which we use to, it could be used to pass ideas to us, opinions, facts, truths, myths. You know, it's just a passage, right? You know, and the key thing at the end of the day is a way to communicate to the mind, right? It's a medium for it's used to communicate between minds, right? That's what we communicate from one mind to the other. That's what you call this medium. Medium, I think it's the singular. Media is the plural, right? But it's a medium. It's a passage, you know, where minds rub together, talk to one another, right? So it is very important, you know, when you're using media to never go to it, you know, innocently, right? Because Jesus Christ tells us that it's not just what we hear that is important. It's not the media that I face that's important. It is important the way I face it, right? It's not just that what I'm looking at is what is the way I'm looking at it, right? The way, whether a media will bless me or not, is not just determined by what that media is the way I listen to, or I communicate, or I relate, or I encounter that media. And it works both ways, whether good or bad, right? It's not how good the message is that's important. It's the way I listen to that message. It makes a difference between heaven and hell. right? It makes a difference between night and day, the way I listen to it, right? So, basically, easy example that I give is market people. You go to the market and you see someone is reading the Bible from morning to night, right? In between selling, that's the way they occupy themselves, maybe reading the Bible. But you see a whole lot of people like that the Bible does not necessarily change their life. It doesn't actually change the way they relate to customers. It's not really reflected in the way they talk, but they're reading the Bible. It's not as if the Bible is powerless to change their life, but it's not just the Bible that they are reading, it's the way they are reading the Bible, right? The hearts they are bringing to bear, right? The questions they are asking, right? That makes a difference between night and day, the effect the Bible will have over them, right? Same thing goes. You can watch a movie. Two people are going to watch a movie, same movie. The influence they're going to get from it will be different. Would like to say popularly that it's not what you're looking at, it's what you see that will affect your life, right? Two people can be looking at the same exact thing, but they'll see two very different things from what they're looking at, even though they're looking at the same thing. Because what we'll look at also is determined, or what we'll see rather, is determined by our bias, our paradigm, our experience of life. Because the way the mind works is this: anytime we read something, our mind quickly goes and interprets it. It says, hey, this thing I'm saying, do I have any reference point? Is it occurred before? How did I judge it when it occurred before? And if there's any reference, he uses that reference to judge what you are looking at. It is a simple way also that, when you're looking at something, we all see things truly upside down. You're a nurse, right? So you know that, when you're looking at something, the way your eye sees everything is upside down, right? That's
Right.
true, right?
Right.
Huh?
Right.
Everything you are looking at is upside down, the way your eyes see.
Mm-hmm.
You
That's
know that,
true.
right?
Right.
It is your brain that corrects what your eyes is saying.
You
Your
see.
eye sees everything that you are seeing. The way it eats the eye, it's all upside down. But what then the picture the eye sees gets transmitted to the brain. The brain then turns it upright. But if you
Right.
left the eyes alone, all the eyes is seeing, everything is upside down. Because that's a reflection that is eating the cornea of the eye, That's the reflection is seeing is everything is upside down. The brain then interprets it and says, no, it's not upside down. The brain is what turns it upright.
Right.
So you see, it's not what you're looking at, it's what you see. It's the way your brain interprets it. So it's important then that we understand ourselves. We have something that we believe in, because whatever our belief is the way every other thing that we see will be interpreted, right?
Okay.
If you go to life without any belief, then you are the mercy of the person that is talking to you. So if you go empty, you will receive everything they say. Everything they say will just be true for you because you have no defense mechanism, right?
Right.
But if you have a basic belief of yours, right? This is who I am. You have already defined for yourself, this is who I am. So every other thing that you hear gets judged by that gate. That becomes your gate to judge every other thing that you hear, right? You are judging every other thing you hear by your basic belief. So that you're able to extract the right stuff and throw away the things that are not right for you. Right? And that's the job of the conscious mind. But if you don't give it a basic belief, that means everything anybody says you just hear, every opinion. You'll live a confused life. That's why faith, is a foundation for everybody living. You must have a basic faith, no matter how small it is, because you can only grow using that. Then, because if you have a basic faith or basic ideal value system, It might not be perfect, but at least you have something, because that would then help you to be able to do a sifting process to every other thing that comes to you. You know what is for you and what is not for you, right? Because if you don't have that, then every Tom, Dick, and Harry can control your life. That's what the Bible was saying in Philippians 4, that the intent of the fivefold ministry is to mature the saints so that will not be tossed about by every wind of doctrine. Give them something that will stabilize them. Give them something that will be an anchor for their life. So
Right.
that's important when we face media. Otherwise, we'll be at the mercy of media. Today they're going to tell us, oh, this is this, that is that, and it happens wherever we find ourselves. Even in church, you have a lot of people that have different doctrines. They've had a lot of those things come on and off. When I was in school, some people came, oh, you must be, when you're baptizing, you must mention the name of Jesus. And you cannot just be saying the name of the Father, the name of the Son, or if you have not done this, then you're not a Christian. They made a doctrine out of it. People come with different things, So if you're not someone that has a basic belief to be able to sift some of those things, you get carried away with the wrong things, because I had issues. I lost 1 year of schooling just because of something like this. Because in 1983 I gave my life to Christ, right? Then in about going into 83, 84, there were some books, some Jehovah's Witness books we had in my house that my father had bought, Bible stories and all of that. And I got reading some of those, and they were now talking about Leviticus, about clean and unclean meat. My young mind could not decipher the difference. As far as I was concerned, you mean there are meat I'm not supposed to eat? I'm not supposed to eat. Oh, I started being watchful of what my parents were cooking. And I was not eating those things that looked like the things that were said in Leviticus that you should not eat. And it troubled me so much that I became sick. I used to be close to a ministry called Every Home for Christ. They were based in Bariga. So I used to go visit them every now and then. So I was speaking with one of the coordinators there, the sister. Oh, she told me, no, that all of that God has this, like I eat anything. In my mind, I was just feeling like, this one does not want to serve God.
Right.
He just being a weak Christian. Because the way they were saying it, they didn't necessarily sit down and take me through scripture. It was more like just talking about their own belief, So I felt, these ones are not serious Christians, bro. So I couldn't receive what they were saying because it was almost like they were not serious Christians, the way the person was saying it, but that troubled me so much, those are my first days, because I just got born again, first person born again in the house, but then I was not having all of this trouble, so my parents are now having an excuse to say, oh, what's love best so deep? That means you have gone to receive religion the wrong way.
Right.
I had issues. I felt sick, such I lost 1 year of school just because of something like that. Yeah. And Toba, you're welcome. Hey, Toba.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, good. Bless your heart.
Yeah.
So we're looking at chapter 10. Good, you have a copy of the book now. So we're in chapter 10.
Yeah, I'm so grateful.
Awesome. So 2 weeks ago, we took the first part of chapter 10. We looked at higher education. Today, we're looking at the second part, which is talking about media. That's where we're on right now. Next week, we'll talk about government tax. Next week. So, media is, like we said, it's a means of influence. It can, the Bible says evil communication corrupts good manners. The full interpretation of that is that all communication corrupts you. Is that going to corrupt you to be a bad person or a good person, right? And it's not about the communication itself. It's about the way you receive the communication. Because the Bible says that be careful how you hear. It's not just what you hear, it's how you hear. Right? And we're just emphasizing the fact that you must never go to listen to anything without having your own basic belief. You have to get to know yourself and accept in yourself. What is it that I believe? right? It might not necessarily be the best of belief, but you must have something that you believe in, because then that becomes what you are giving to your conscious mind to judge every other thing that you hear. Yes, obviously, if you get something that is better, a higher understanding, you mature. But that maturity has to be within your control, not just someone that is enforcing a doctrine on you, right? Because we are all responsible for our lives. My pastor is not responsible for my life. My bishop is not responsible for my life. My imam is not responsible for my life. My parents are not responsible for my life, right? When I stand before the judgment seat of Christ, I'm not going to have any excuse. Even in this life, life is not going to give me time for any excuse, whether I make it or not. It's up to me, right? God says, God is not mocked. Whatsoever a person sows, that will he reap. So we need to be responsible there for the things we are allowing to sow in our lives, because we're going to be the ones to bear the harvest. It's we that are going to wear the shoe. We are going to feel the pinch, whether our shoe is going to be comfortable or not. The buck ends with us. So then we must be responsible. I know people don't like it when we say that everybody is self-made. Some people would not say, "Oh, you mean you are self-made? How about your pastor? How about your parents? How about your friends?" It's easy to want to claim another person's success, but a lot of people don't claim people's failure, because the reverse is also true. If you believe that there's nobody self-made, then nobody's self-failure. Right? I mean, that means that some people are responsible for another person's failure. But the truth is that everybody's self-made, right? We get help, no doubt, but the final decision is ours to make, right? So everybody's self-made or self-destroyed. The result of our life ends on our table. We are responsible for it. We can't blame any other person for it, whether it's good or bad. But let me continue. Anyways, so I mean, I'm gonna then everything I've said is all summarized in all of this. But pretty much, how does this then affect the way we earn money? It affects our philosophy, right? Media is all targeted on our philosophy. What's our philosophy? Our philosophy is the way we think, the way we reason, the way we see things, right? The TV, you talk about TV program. It's a programming. It's seeking to program people, right? Media seeks to program your subconscious mind. The media is not after your conscious mind. Your conscious mind is just a gate. Every media is after your subconscious mind, because your subconscious mind controls your life. Your subconscious mind is where your philosophy resides. So every media, whether it be TV, radio, the church, newspaper, politics, government, everybody's targeting your subconscious mind, right? Because that's where the stories, the history of your life resides. It's not your conscious mind. It's the history of your life, the story of your life, what you do when you're not actively thinking is all stored in your subconscious mind, right? Your conscious mind is just a protector of that place, right? So every media seeks to affect your way of thinking, which is called your philosophy. Your way of thinking will affect the way your attitude towards wealth, towards money, towards sowing, towards reaping, towards giving, towards receiving. Everything about your life, is controlled by your philosophy, which is your way of thinking, right? And that's what media is trying to affect, whether it be in the church, whether it be in radio, TV, even we that we're talking right now. All we're trying to do is affect each other's philosophy, our way of thinking, trying to check whether it's okay, not okay, make some adjustments. So God says, come and let's reason together, right? Let's look at things, whether you can do it better, something you need to change, something you need to do more of, less of. God is trying to affect your philosophy also, your way of thinking, right? All right. I think I've covered every aspect. I'm going to stop here unless you have a question. If you don't, then I have two things, just running through some advantages and disadvantages of social media. Those are the next two slides. But I'm going to stop here. Any question for me? Something you want to me to emphasize on, or anything you want to add? And anything from your end, Toba?
Oh no, since I came in
All
a
right.
bit late, so very late, so I will have to just check up the slides and be able to get a full grasp of everything said.
All right. All right. Great.
I had some
And
little
anything from your side?
No, nothing.
Nothing. All right. Great. Let's just look at some advantages and disadvantages here on social media. So this is just running through 7 effects of social media, positive effects of social media, right? Which also can just be any media. But social media is just the fact that people are relating with one another. There's opportunity for feedback. So social media makes it easier to make friends, so that's a good thing about the social media. You can make friends easily. Today I have friends in Botswana, Papua New Guinea, have friends everywhere. Zambia, have friends, a lot of friends in Zambia, Philippines. People I probably never meet in my life, but we get to relate over the social media. We get to counsel people, whether Philippines, you know, that's what social media makes available to us. There's also the negative side. There are people that go to sin, the social media and do a lot of terrible things, but it's up to us, a choice, as it were. It helps us to have empathy, right? We have that time to look at how people people's as it were shortcomings. So you have a lot of people then able to do all this growth fund and all of that. There's a speed of communication. I sent something before I said Jack Robinson. Someone has replied. Someone in America, someone in London, and it's almost it's almost unimaginable, because in 2 seconds, I've sent something in 2 seconds or less. Someone has replied from Botswana, so it's so fast, it brings us to a small village, it helps us to build relationship. But we have to be careful in the building relationship, because if all your life is around social media, you might not be enjoying the fullness of life. There has to be a balance between social media and reality of life. You have to be able to lead both of them in a balanced way. I mean, if you just leave, you need a balance between that, because a lot of people hide in social media, right? So they're in the boss, or the life they live is just on social media. They don't know how to do face-to-face living, so they're living a fake life. You need to be able to balance both, be able to relate on screen and face-to-face also. That's what life is about, balance. Uh, News travels faster, no doubt, and we can easily find people on common ground. There's also a negative side to common ground, where we talk about groupthink, where people try to bully you to follow their idea. A groupthink is not of God, it's of the devil. God expects everyone to make their own decision and not be bullied by a group. You know, just quickly run through some negative aspects of social media. It reduces face-to-face interaction. That's why I said we need to get a balance around it. It increases the craving for attention, that, and some people have that, we call it FOMO, right? Fear of missing out, right? People are all about, oh, how many likes do you have? Oh, how many friends do you have? Oh, I mean, a lot of people on YouTube are always talking about, oh, like my video, oh, subscribe, oh, I have probably 1,000 videos out there on YouTube. I've never told anybody to like it. I've never told anybody to subscribe. You know, if you like it, fine. If you don't like it, fine. I'm not doing it because for people to like it. I'm doing it because I believe that's what I need to do, and I believe I'm providing value. I might not have any like today, at the right time. Mine is to continuously judge myself and get better. But I am not a slave of people's like or people's subscription. It could distract us from life goal, because you spend too much time on screen. You're not leading life. You're not following your goals. It can lead to depression because you're just on your own. You're not relating with people. Uh, if you spend too much time on it and you're not relating with people, you might lose out on your relationship. Like my children, you told me that years back, I love Facebook so much, so I have to be careful. I don't spend too much time on Facebook that I miss out time with them. It's a whole balance, it could stunt creativity because you're not spending time to think, and spend time to think and come up with new solutions. Obviously, there's cyberbullying, and there's also could be self-esteem because you're hiding behind a screen. You're not able to leave face to face and stand up. Yeah, it could affect your sleep because the rays from the computer are meant to keep you awake. So you have to find a way not to lose sleep by looking too much at the screen. And also, it lacks privacy. People can easily abuse you or make comments on what you're posting out there. So there are all of those challenges with it, but in the midst of the challenge, there are a lot of benefits. So it's up to us to find ways to cover ourselves from the challenges or the threats and utilize the opportunities, the potentials, So may God grant us all wisdom.
Amen.
All right, that's all I got. If there's no question, we're going to close it for today.
All right.
You all want me to send you the slides, or you're good? You have the book, right?
Yeah, we can watch it.
All right, yeah, it's on YouTube. All of that, you can always watch it online. It runs online, yes. All right, let me let you go then. And you need to go to church.
Yes.
That's why you need to go prepare for tomorrow. All right. God bless you. See you next Sunday then.
Yeah.
Bye, Uncle. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Have a great week. God bless you.
Amen.
Mm.